Hey everyone, welcome to Will's Treasures. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for being on the premiere train. We got a great bunch of channels today. Stick around. We have 8 channels. They're going to be shooting 15-minute videos back to back to back. So stick around, grab your cup of coffee, and let's show some support for these awesome content creators. So you guys are here first at Will's Treasures. I want you to stick around. This is something completely different than I normally do, but it's going to be pretty cool. All right. I was doing this years ago, and now I'm getting back into it. And I'm sure everybody has a job, got to make money somehow. Maybe you're lucky enough to be retired. I still have a few more years to go. But for my entire life, I've always had some type of side hustle. And this was one of them. I stopped doing it for probably the last 7 years, but now I'm ramping it back up. It's a good money maker, not a lot of work involved. You just got to know what you're doing. So if you're wondering where I am, I'm down in my fish room, and I'll show you a quick little scope of that once I'm done explaining what I'm doing. But I'm breeding bugs. Yes, I'm breeding superworms. If you don't know what a superworm is, I'll show you in a minute. Those of you who have or had bearded dragons know what a superworm is. Bearded dragons love superworms. So I'm going to show you what they are. And if you look in this small fish tank here, I have them in this fish tank, and what you do is you just slice up some potatoes and you put them in there. They get the moisture from that and the nutrients, and I feed them with some other type of food. But this is what a superworm is. Don't get creeped out, but they're pretty cool. Bring out a couple more here. There you go. That's what a superworm is. They have a hard shell body. They're very nutritious for reptiles. And that's about as big as they get. They're adults right there. They do not bite, so you don't have to worry about that. But I'm going to go through the process of how I breed these superworms, okay? I have these cases here, and what you have to do is you have to have these cases individual little spaces in here, and you take a superworm and you put a superworm in each little space all by itself. I'll do a couple of them. See how they're in there, each little individual home there. And then you close it up, leave it alone for about a month. And after a month, what starts to happen is they start to pupate. Okay? They turn into these little pupae, and I'll show you what they look like, because I have some that have turned. Let me close this back up. This is a pupae. And if you notice, let's see if it moves. Yeah, see it moving? It's alive. Okay, so that worm, that superworm turns into this. It morphs into this. And before it does that, I'll show you real quick. I'll put him back in there. You see these guys here? The ones that are starting to curl? They'll start to curl, and that tells me within a week they're gonna morph into the pupae. And you can see there's a bunch of them. There's one there, here. There's a bunch of them that have already morphed. And what I do with them pull them out. Let me show you here. Let me get these last couple. All right, get back in there. Close that up. And now I got a handful of the pupae. And you can see they do move. They are alive. And I'm going to take you over to where I put them. They go into this container. And you can see I have other ones over here. They've been in here. They're about ready to turn. Put them in this nice clean container here. They have a potato. This is oatmeal. It's a nice bedding for them. This has water crystals in it so they can hydrate. And once these morph, they morph into these black beetles. That's pretty cool, right? They morph into these black beetles. So after a couple weeks, this will morph into this black beetle. That's my goal, is to get them to turn into the black beetles. And if you look right here, look at all of those beetles. They're all on the inside of this egg crate right here. They're having like a little orgy going on right there in here. So what they're doing in this container is that they're breeding. The beetles are breeding with each other, and in a month or so there will be tens and thousands of baby superworms, and that's what I'm shooting for. Then when they're baby superworms, then I have to grow them out in another month or so. If I feed them well and take care of them, they'll be adult superworms. And at that point, when they're adults, even when they're, you could sell them at 2 different sizes. And that's my goal, is to sell these superworms again. When they're adults, I could sell 1,000 of them for $30. And with the amount of beetles that I have right there, they'll be probably produce 50,000 superworms. But I'm constantly replenishing my stock of beetles, so I keep on growing out the beetles, because the beetles live for about 3 to 4 months, then they die. So you got to constantly replenish your stock, which is no problem, because you just keep on morphing the superworms and moving along. But I do have an outlet for these superworms. It was very lucrative for me when I was doing it. I figured I'd get back into it again, and take all of that money that I make from breeding bugs and put it towards purchasing my silver and my gold. So this will be an ongoing process. I'll keep you guys updated once they get larger and saleable, and the money that I got from there, I will turn bugs into silver and gold, which is pretty cool. Very limited work. You spend 5 minutes a day feeding these guys, and that's about it. So what do you guys think of this cool little project I got going on? I always got something going on, and I like to work smarter, not harder. And this is 5 minutes of work a day, and every 1,000 superworms I sell, I'll make 30 bucks. So it's pretty lucrative if you keep at it and you know how to breed these and what conditions that you need for them to breed and be happy and healthy. You know, that's the whole goal. I think I make it look a little easy, but I'm definitely having fun doing it. So I'll give you a little close-up Here are the beetles. They're getting a drink. And we'll flip this over one more time and you can see all of the beetles in there having a good old time, making babies. Close that back up on them. So that's my new little project. Definitely gonna have fun doing it, and I'll keep you posted on my progress. And since we're down here, we'll get a little look at the fish. That is a South American cichlid. It's a Midas cichlid. And I'm currently breeding these guys. I'm back to being a fish hobbyist after getting out of the business. So that's a Midas cichlid. He is rather large, this guy right here. He's rather large. He's about 10 or 11 inches long. Show you what else we got here. These are called Carpentes. Another South American cichlid. Very pretty iridescent spots on them. Breeding these guys too. Big old catfish. It's a sailfin catfish. Definitely need to clean the glass on the fish tanks. And we'll shoot you around to my pride and joy, my favorite fish. These guys are called blue frontoses. It's an awesome looking fish. And these guys are at the age now, I've had them for 3 years, and that's when they become adults. So hopefully they start breeding for me. Very pretty fish. And all these guys are 8 or 10 inches long. That's the daddy. That's the big one. There we go. And what do we have up in this tank up here? We have an angelfish. You can see him. There he is. He's a little spooked. Cool little angelfish. And then we got one more tank over here. They're looking for some food. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Something a little different from Will's Treasures. How to breed superworms. Let's keep this trainer rolling. And we're off to Silver Bolt 30. Let's go.